Grand Rising, everyone. Happy Sunday. I'm the Grace Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Sunday, May 25th, 2025. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread for today? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are our Seven of Cups in its upright in combination with our Death card in its upright. This is what we're talking about right now. If I could summarize Gemini energy, like these two cards would be a very good summarization of the energy. Because what we talk about, and I need to tell you, we're going through a lot of that work that we're identifying and recognizing between the difference between Taurus to Gemini. And what's beautiful is when we were going through a lot of the Taurus lessons, we talk a lot about that path work of determination, that ability of doing something over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Taurus cycles are all about learning how to carve a groove. It's also helping us identify the difference between a groove and a rut, because those modalities or those spaces, right? That ability of doing something and refining it to the point that it becomes energetically perfected, it allows adaptation. It allows that variation. It allows you to start to kind of freestyle to a certain extent. And that's what I like about Gemini energy so much. I kind of describe it as like pinball energy. I describe it as like freestyle energy. It's the ability of like tweaking. It's the ability of working on a theme. It's the ability of doing something in little ways that allows one to get into a deeper sense of refinement. And it's interesting too, because we talk a lot about the fact that this is sometimes why we have a hard time with the sign work that's in closest approximation to us, because that nuance, that understanding that there's always something to learn, there's always something on the next horizon, a lot of that work. This is why we see that those with a lot of Gemini placements don't like sticking to, it's not they don't like sticking to one thing, but they like discovering. It's the energy of discovery. It's allowing for the adjustment and the adaptability to see what one finds there. It's all about that experimentation and that consideration. Now, the other thing that we're seeing that's really important today is the fact that Saturn has moved out of Pisces into Aries. And a lot of that work that we're recognizing with Pisces moving out with Saturn moving out of Pisces into Aries. If you're feeling if you're feeling a little bit more frustrated right now, we've still got a bunch of signs now in Aries, and we just had a new one bump into it. It has to do in the realm of working through patience. Now, you'll recall we talked about this with Aries placements. It's not that Aries are not patient. Aries are some of the most patient energy on the planet, but they just don't have a lot of patience. Okay, so a little bit of patience can go a long way as long as you're using it with energetic discernment. And what do often those with Aries placements do? They recognize and identify what that path of change is, that ability to recognize what the path of progress is. This is often why those with Aries placements will frequently go into coaching, because that ability of seeing the patience that increases in the space of being able to do something and to recognize the force of change within it. This is the chemistry that helps us understand the difference between a groove and a rut, something that's getting us somewhere, or something that we're perpetually in the feeling of over and over and over again. So we see that there's a lot of that consideration in relationality to refinement. This is a really good time to be refining those manifestation goals, right? Now, it is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Can I please have the center card in today's spread? Center card for today is our Ace of Swords in its reversal. There's something really important that we're seeing that's happening right now. And I think what's important about it is understanding the significance of energetic resistance, right? Because, and I keep on seeing that some of these new partnerships, even here, I told you that some of this energy is feeling frustrated, these new partnerships that are forming, because these are the magician partnerships that wish they could move towards each other with more speed, but they're healing from situations or circumstances wherein I keep on hearing a manifestation was stated, but the ability to move through it was not present. We often work in that space of being hurt because it's not just enough to say that one desires something, right? It's easy to wish for things. The difference between a manifestation and a wish is being able to do the work to get there, right? And often we can get very frustrated at past relationships when someone's always in a space. Like I keep on hearing the wish that sounds like a complaint, like the wish that sounds like it was a lodging of the complaint, right? When we throw each other's wishes at each other, which is like, I wish you would do this. I wish you would do that, right? I wish you would do this, instead of saying, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm trying to do to try to like fix something. So I feel like there's a lot of this energy that is healing from the energy that was constantly wishing for change, but in the space of wishing for it, they were like asking another to make the change, right? But not making the space of doing the same work within the self. Because when we're in energetic alignment, we don't ask for others to change around us in ways that we ourselves aren't capable of changing, right? And this is why we see that for some of the energy, that ability of being in their authenticity, right? What are the energies talking about? They're talking about what they're trying to work on. They're talking about their energetic assignment. But what's beautiful is I can see that the reason that these partnerships are coming together is this isn't the energy that looks towards counterpart and says, why aren't you changing enough for me, right? It's understanding that the healthy relationship isn't about creating change in the self that's not of the self. It's working on the self that brings one into alignment. And so that's why I see that there's like a little bit of this space of embodying like the sense of liberty. But they're saying to me that that liberty is the liberation of being the self, being the authentic self, and not feeling like someone is holding aversion to that. Because I told you even now, some of this energy in separation right now are healing from situations or circumstances where it felt like someone was saying that they love them, but it never really seemed obvious if they actually liked them, right? Because often when we experience that, when someone's like, I love you, but I don't seem like I like you, it feels more like the energy that says, why won't you change in the ways I would like you to change, instead of feeling the delight of being who you energetically are. And this is why I hear, what is the energy saying in separation as they're coming together? I like everything that I see. I like you just the way you are. And when we're in our authenticity, when we're working on our authenticity and someone says that to us, it's music to our ears. Continuing to get clarification, fourth and fifth cards in our 5-card spread, we have here our 6 of wands in its reversal in combination with our Knight of Cups in its upright. So for a lot of the energy right now that is coming into union, I told you this is the energy that's recovering from a lot of that heart opening. It wasn't easy. There was a lot of this work as it relates to being able to express or expound upon something, the ability to talk about how one feels. And this is why I keep on hearing, like, this is that Pluto in retrograde taking effect. And I love the Pluto in retrograde energy, because the Pluto in retrograde energy, to a certain extent, it says to us or communicates to us that when we're in healthy partnership, there's nothing that's not on the table. It's not about the ability to have a conversation. It's just about recognizing the vulnerability that's required to be healed in order to get there. And that's why I keep on hearing tender conversations, right? Working through tender subjects, because this is the energy that says, I've never been able to talk to someone about this before. Understanding the paradoxical beauty of alignment, that means had the energy itself has never been ready to confront that part of the self, while also being in the safe harbor of the healthy energetic relationship that creates a stability in order to communicate something that one hasn't communicated before. This brings us to a lot of the energy deep within divine union, clarification between our Seven of Cups in its upright in combination with our Death card. There it is. One card, please. We've got our Sun card in its reversal. So there's something really lovely about the Sun card in its reversal. And I got to stress this right now. Saturn transiting can be emotional, right? Saturn transiting out of Pisces into Aries can be looking, observing feelings of the past, but also being able to put them to bed to a certain extent, right? It's the ability of something coming back up, but then not like, it's like, I keep on seeing like the gift, I keep on hearing the gift of non-attachment and being able to look at something that used to, again, something that used to devastate you, but now just disappoints you. It's like ennui energy. It's working through, it's like the sigh, right? It's a lot of that, alas. It's like, what is Saturn saying as a transit? Alas. But why does it say alas? Because like alas is also connected to like lassoing rigor. It's like it's working in the space of saying like, you know, when you need to do something, you don't dwell on the emotionality of what one wishes, but the reality of what you effectively see. And so, you know, I keep on hearing like there's something really profound that is happening right now for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, which is recognizing the attunement between the difference between a manifestation and a wish. And what is the difference between a manifestation and a wish? Manifestation being the force that is necessary to move one in that directionality, right? Working in the space of what it takes to arrive to a certain space while not being too hard on the self in the process, right? While also letting go of any feelings of frustration, letting go of anything that feels like it's the energetic burden that weighs us down. Because that's the thing. Sometimes when we have too much feeling, it stops us from doing anything, right? Like that is the thing about, this is why we talk about why unattachment is necessary, because unattachment does not mean that you don't have feelings. You just choose not to dwell on them, because dwelling on feelings doesn't get things done. Getting things done gets things done. That's how you get a manifestation. That's how a manifestation is done. Continuing, and I keep on seeing, this is why the conversation for the energy deep within divine union is saying to one another, don't be so hard on yourself on that journey, right? Don't be so hard on yourself. Continuing to get clarification between our Death card in combination with the Ace of Swords in its reversal. Yep, there we go. I love it. I love it. When things wear on us, we weave, is what I keep on hearing. When things wear on us, we weave, which is, again, when things grate upon the fabric of something that is integrally important to us, we work on mending, we work on fixing. We identify and recognize what feels like it is valuable and energetically important, because I keep on hearing that ability of doing so, right? It's not that it's easy. It's that I keep on hearing, it's not that it's easy. It's that it's important. Because when something is energetically important, you don't weigh whether you do it as to the easeability of it. You do it because it needs to get done. Is what I keep on hearing. But there's a lot of that. That's Saturn. That's Saturn walking into Aries, which is like, what are we doing? Right? Like, it's not like Saturn in Pisces is about the search for feelings. Saturn in Aries is about the journey into action. It's the journey into activation. It's working into the space of the stabilization of the self, that recognize, keep on hearing, dwelling doesn't get anything done. Getting things done gets things done. So I just keep on seeing that, like, and that's interesting, because I just keep on hearing done, like for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, because but done, and I need to point this out. You understand how they're saying done isn't done like finished. Done means like doing things. It means doing things. It's keeping your hands full. And I'm like, let me tell you right now, that's Gemini energy, because Gemini energy, like I often sometimes associate the world card to Gemini too, because it's not about like doing one thing. It's like I love the world card because, like, you know, she's like twirling batons on one leg. You know, it's like spinning plates. It's the spinning plates of spinning plates. When you're working through a lot of things, when you have a lot to do, you either consider it a burden or a blessing. And our ability to feel energetically blessed as we do things, like this is how we heal. Because when we're doing things that feel like they give us meaning, they feel like energetic blessings. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is why they're willing to take on that hard work. Clarification between the Ace of Swords and the Seven of Wands in its reversal. I told you, these are those chariot partnerships. It's the burden that's a blessing. It's not hard work for you. It's hard work, not for you. It's hard work, not for you. Why? Because when we're in healthy partnership, it shows us the things that we have to work on that we could not see before, right? When we say we go into healthy relationship to heal, we don't go into healthy relationship and say, I'm done now. Healthy relationship is just the beginning. Often we don't know what we need to heal until we're in healthy partnership, because suddenly we see things that we couldn't see before. And that's why I kept on telling you, with that Ace of Swords and that Seven of Wands in its reversal, this is the energy that says to one another, how's the relationship? Amazing. How are you feeling? Never worse. But they're saying it with a smile on their face, because that ability of understanding that they can see the next assignment, that they can understand what it is that they're working through, right? The ability to do something in a way that you haven't before. They're carving new grooves into themselves. But that's the beauty of the healthy partnership, is it allows you to start working on things that aren't easy, but that you want to do, right? It's like the energy that this is the song of the energy, carving new grooves. Continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Wands and its reversal and our Knight of Cups and its upright. Energy and separation right now. This is rough, man. We got to talk about what's going on with the energy and separation right now. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, 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 dear. I see what's happening. Okay, so I see that there's a lot of this energy in separation. And what did the energy say right before they started looking for connection? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm going to stop pretending. I'm going to stop doing this. Remembering a healthy manifestation is often not what you choose to start doing. Often a healthy manifestation changes you before you receive it. And so why is the energy like saying I'm sick of it? Because in the space that they said, I'm sick of trying to be performative to find partnership. The higher self says finally, because they stop performing and they start being. And in the moment that they start being, you become a beacon, right? When you start being, you become a beacon for the counterpart. They can finally see you, right? And when the counterpart sees you, what is the song you're singing? I'm not perfect, but I'm working on it. And what does the ideal counterpart say? I like what I see. I wouldn't change a thing. And suddenly, a lot of this energy is feeling very, 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 very temperamental about the past relationships, because it's helping the difference between seeing the space of the change that we find, right? The healthy relationship that changes us into our sublime self, brings us into authenticity as we search for it, but at the same time opens our eyes to what wasn't potentially working in the past relationship. And so I keep on hearing there's a lot of energy right now building into new connections, and it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet. because, but I need to say this, right? And I think that this is the important thing that I'm seeing here. This isn't the energy that's putting all of the accountability for that reason on the past counterpart. This is the energy that's also working through the space that when we aren't authentic and we build into connection, we set the wrong parameters. When we aren't authentic and we build into the wrong partnership, we set the wrong parameters from the onset. This is why if you're in a space of inconsistency and you try to bring consistency to it, it never energetically works. You can't feed consistency to inconsistency in order to fix it. All you do if you feed consistency to inconsistency is you perpetuate it. You solidify it. And so this is why a lot of the energy is not working into the space of looking at something and waiting it for it to change. They're operating, I told you, this is why they're magician energy. They're operating in the conditions of what they see is what they're going to get, right? They're letting go of that process of potentially solidifying something that they wanted to see change in by just moving away from something instead of saying, I can fix it. We start to heal. The moment we start to heal, we stop saying, I can fix it. We start observing whether another desires to fix it with us, because those are different things. Clarification between, and that's why, because this is the energy, and this is Gemini energy. Why? Because this is the energy that's building into new connection that says, right, as long as we see the things that are in the self that we're both working on, there's nothing we can't fix. As long as we both agree, there's nothing we can't fix. Continuing to get clarification between our Sun card in combination with our World card. There's that 9 of Cups. That's exactly what we're talking about, right? This is also what the energy is saying. This is what all of the energy is saying. This is the energy in separation. This is the energy right now. Is today a portal? I feel like today is a portal. I feel like today is, and then we've got the energy coming into divine union and the energy deep within divine union. Let me just see something. Yeah, there's a bit of alignment that's happening today. I can already see it. And there's something about that alignment that says, as long as we agree on what it is that needs to be fixed, there's nothing we can't fix. But if we don't agree on what we're fixing, nothing ever gets fixed. Right? That's what that is the understanding. That is the clarification that is happening right now in relationality to the observation. If we understand, if we're working on the same things, this is happening, then there's nothing that we can't do. But if we're trying to do different things and we're trying to fix things in different ways, everything starts falling apart, right? It's like this, I keep on hearing, we're walking into this Gemini season with the spirit of generosity. So the spirit of generosity is moving us into this Gemini season. But I also think that that's a little bit of that message that's coming through with Saturn in Pisces into Saturn in Aries, because Saturn in Pisces is the energy that says you just have to do everything perfectly and things will start getting easier, right? Like Gemini, like Saturn in Pisces is like trying to do a million different things in a million different ways. But Saturn in Aries is really about saying, like, let's work on things in the order, like, let's prioritize, like, let's get our priorities straight. Like, really, that's the thing about it. Like, Saturn in Aries is all about getting the priorities straight. So I feel like that's why when we are getting our priorities straight, we recognize whether we're trying to work on the same things. Like, what's your assignment? Continuing to get clarification between our World card in its upright in combination with our 3 of Cups in its reversal. There's that 6 of Swords in its upright. Yeah, and I'm just identifying here. You know, one of the things that we're seeing is, and this is why I keep on saying, like, I got to point this out to you. You know, a 9 of Cups and a 6 of Swords together, it's bittersweet. Like, this is bittersweet. This is like literally the definition of bittersweet. But that's That's what healthy spirituality is. It's bittersweet, right? Because it's not about avoiding things. Again, and we talk a lot about this here. Like a healthy spirituality isn't the energy that goes, I'm perfect. You guys all stink. It's not the energy that says, I would like the spirituality that tells me that I am special. It's working into the space of understanding that something healthy for us is always showing us the way towards working towards a better version of self. It's not about arriving, it's about the journey towards it. And the beauty of the energetic journey is not one that says, I'm done. It's the energy that says, even in being done, I continue forward. There's always something that can be worked upon. There's always something that can be refined. There's always, and that's something in our relationships, that's something in ourself. And never are we in more danger than when we feel like we've hit this moment and we say, I'm perfect, right? It's like that's not good, because perfect is not found. Perfect is a cardinal direction. It's not a destination. You can't find it on a map. You find it within the self, and you let it set the energetic coordinates. And that's why I see even now, for a lot of the energy, like I keep on hearing there's some hard conversations that are happening in some of these separations as it relates to these new relationships. Because this is the energy that finally had to say, I had to make the choice between, this is the energy healing from a relationship where it didn't feel like the question was whether to stay or go. The question felt like a question of self-respect of the self, right? Like this is some energy saying, like, I stayed until I would have had to lose myself completely for the sake of the partnership, right? Because a lot of those spaces, remember, like that taking and taking and taking and taking and taking, I keep on hearing there's something about the energy and separation saying a healthy partnership would never ask me to lose respect for myself in the process, right? It's a lot of that energy that works in the space of understanding that space of respect, that space of finding that ability of doing so is one that feels like it's energetically expansive, right? It's holding the part. I keep on hearing the journey of holding a counterpart in honor, right? Is the journey of being able to energetically ascertain and work into the context of not necessarily having everything exactly the way that you want it to be, but being energetically adaptable, right? This is why we talk about the fact that the healthy relationships are the ones that embody the spirit of the happy medium, because the embodied spirit of the happy medium is one that we don't look towards each other as a means to an end, but we find the path that feels best for one another. So why is this energy moving slower than they typically would as they enter partnership? They're looking for the ability of the counterpart to find the happy medium, right? That space of not feeling like one rushes, but that adaptability that understands that when we're patient with each other, we can have everything, because we're not saying, give it to me. We're saying, let's go there together. So we see even now, like that's happening for both energy. That's happening across all of the frequencies. And I can see that for some of the energy right now coming into divine union, that ability of looking at the past, right? That's the thing right now. And I told you, we're coming out of it because Mercury in Taurus with Saturn transiting into Aries, it felt a little retrograde. It felt emotional. A lot of things from the past resurfacing. I was telling you guys the last few days, prepare for, it's going to get a little retrograde in here, because like, even though it wasn't technically retrograde, Mercury in Taurus can feel very retrograde. Saturn transiting out of Pisces into Aries can feel very retrograde. But the ability, and this is the gift, being able to look at something, and even in the space of potentially looking at something that in the past would have wounded you, but now doesn't bother you, right? Like, what is some of the gift that we sometimes recognize? And this is why Saturn says to us, like Saturn like cares about us. Like Saturn says, I am not your enemy. I know you guys think I am. I know you guys think I am. But what is the gift that Saturn gives us around difficult situations? I can't promise you it won't hurt anymore. but I can guarantee you that I'm going to give you more things. And it's not going to be the only thing you feel, right? And that's what we talk about, which is the gift of bittersweetness. Because the gift of bittersweetness is the gift that Saturn brings. Because whenever we look to Saturn and we say, Saturn, I am in pain, Saturn says, I can't take that pain from you. But I guarantee if you stick around, I've got some other stuff I can give you to carry with it. I can help you dilute that. I can help you find new things to help you navigate that, right? And this is why I think there's something beautiful in this transit of Saturn, because in that way, Saturn says, like, I'm not your enemy. I'm your friend, because I'm going to give you something as we travel and you carry that pain. I'm going to give you perspective. Continuing to get clarification between our 3 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 6 of Cups in its reversal. One card to clarify. There it is. There it is. King of Cups in its reversal, because I feel like this is that Saturn energy, right? And like, what does Saturn say when we look at something and we still hurt, right? Like, we often look towards Saturn, like in the moment that something's happening, and we say, why does this hurt so much? Why does it have to be like this? And sometimes Saturn says, I can't tell you that. I don't have that. But I will tell you something. I can't make any promises on what you'll see, but I guarantee you that if you continue forward with me, the one thing I can promise you is perspective, right? That ability to, again, working through non-attachment, right? The ability of understanding that one sees things in time. These are the gifts that Saturn brings. It's called wisdom. And the thing with wisdom is we wince as we receive it, right? Because it's not that the pain ever goes anywhere. It's not that we ever stop hurting. A healing journey is not about stopping pain. It's about understanding why something hurts so much in the first place. Because trauma is formed in spaces of confusion. And when we're able to understand our pain, even if it didn't make sense, even if the confusion itself is the wound, that ability to be able to identify the reason is the piece that we find that brings us wisdom. So we see even now, this is something that's happening in a big way across all of the frequencies. And when you operate in that space, it's not about matching energy. It's not about saying, oh, you did that, I'm going to do this. What? No, it's about healing. It's about seeing something and saying, it didn't have to be that way, right? And I can keep on hearing, this is why I keep on hearing, this is what's happening right now with a lot of the energy that's making peace in partnership, this chariot relationship that they found a relationship that's brought them to higher ground. And is that peace there? No, they make it every day. And every day, the trauma of the past comes in and says, this isn't who you are. This isn't real. This is you faking your healing. This isn't really you. And every day that they build into the context of the peace that they create, they understand and they look back at the past and say, it didn't have to be that way. Right? It didn't have to be that way. It's the difference. When we're in the space of trauma, the trauma says to us, I will always be this way. Nothing will ever change. And when we're moving against the current of the trauma, when we live our lives in accordance to that, when we create peace with one another, we say, it doesn't have to be that way. And I make every day my commitment to show you how good it can be, because that good is not something found. It's something that we make together. So this is the energy saying, let me show you how good it can be. That is their pledge of commitment to each other. And that is the pledge that they don't say. They're not giving things to each other. They're saying that to themselves each and every day as they build that together. While we have a lot of the energy right now deep within divine union, clarification between our 9 of Cups in its upright and our 6 of Swords in its upright. One card to clarify, please. Clarification, there's that Magician in its reversal. It's not easy. It's not easy. You have a right to. Who cares what you got a right to do? It's not about what you have a right to do. It's about what feels energetically right. And this is why I told you that the energy right now is in the deep within divine union, is deep in justice energy. It's not about what you have a right to. It's about what's right, right? And because when we say I have a right to, that is energy, that's matching energy, right? Because that means, right, if you say you have a right to, that means if anyone, like, it's really easy. Like, this really easy. If I want to get you in your worst space possible, I'll just treat you terribly because I know I'll bring the worst out of you, right? It's easy peasy. There you go. That's all I need to do, right? That ability of being able to recognize and identify, it's not about matching energy. It's about being the energetic lesson. This is what honor is. And that ability of navigating through a space of honor, being able to be adaptable, being able to find that force that allows one to move forward in that fashion. This is the energy I keep on seeing. And this could be a lot of the energy deep within divine union. Like, it's not, and this is why, again, we don't look to the past as an armory, right? We don't look at something and saying, well, you did this, so I did that. That's how you fall down the stairs. The ability of saying, like, how can I make this better? What can we do to right this, right? Working into refinement. The past becomes a library, not an armory, wherein all things are energetically possible. Continuing to get clarification between our 6, and this is also what's happening right now for the energy coming into divine union with the magician. Because this is the energy that says we are, and this is the beauty of Taurus coming into Gemini, right? Because what does the trauma say? You'll always be this way. You'll never change, right? And often that journey is one that every day we do it, it feels like it's impossible until the day comes where the amount of times we've done what feels like peace outweighs the trauma that we carried before ourselves. Saturn helps us in this way too, because Saturn's got our back. Saturn has our back in that way, because Saturn is the space of understanding that practice makes perfect. And that doesn't mean that practicing something makes you perfect. It means that we make perfect for ourselves via the practice each day that we create for ourselves. The practices that we hold revenant, like the practices that become relevant to us, wherein we make our peace each day, that allows us to be able to define and describe and find our perfect. So this is why I keep on hearing that this is the energy that is understanding and working through the space that practice makes perfect, right? And the practice is working in the space of being able to do something in a way that you haven't before. And that's the energetic relationship that they're creating with one another in the process. For a lot of the energy right now in separation, I told you, heavy right now in magician energy, working in that space. And the thing about it, man, I gotta see that. I see this. There's some frustration here. There's some frustration being released. Clarification between our 6 of Swords in combination with our King of Cups in its reversal. Oh, there it is. 8 of Wands in its reversal. So a lot of this energy that I'm seeing in relationality to recognizing and identifying, I keep on seeing this feels like and here's the thing about it. I keep on hearing there's a lot of work that's happening for energy in separation right now between the difference between authenticity and aversion, right? As it relates to manifestation goals. Because when we're working towards healthy partnership, the thing we have to remember is, and this is why we don't connect our manifestations to people, right? I'm not the first person to tell you this. When we connect our manifestations to people, we have those moments where we hold on to someone and we go, why isn't my manifestation acting right? I can change them. Oh, I'm here to change them. This is the journey. No, no, it's not. Okay, no, it's not. No, it's not. It's not. It really is not. Like the journey of saying you're my manifestation, and you're clearly not giving any indication that you want to do anything that my manifestation would do, but I can change you. That is not the manifestation. That might look a lot like the manifestation, but if it doesn't feel like the manifestation, like we've talked a lot about this, a healthy manifestation is not what things look like on the outside, they're what they feel like. They're the ability to understand and recognize that when we're in a healthy manifestation, like it's not saying gimme, right? It's saying help me see. Help me find what is for me. Help me find what's in alignment. Help me recognize and identify it. So a lot of that work in working through the context of help me see, this is the energy that is identifying and recognizing via V, finding their authenticity, right? Working towards partnership. And what did they say? I'm sick of it. I'm just going to be myself. And what does the higher self say? Finally, finally, right? Because when we are able to be in our authenticity, when we stop acting and start being, we become a beacon for the energy that's in alignment to us. And we recognize that rejection is an illusion. That if we're in our authenticity and someone doesn't like that, we don't say, no, come back. We say, have a nice day. Because that space, working through that, not feeling like one needs to change in ways that one doesn't desire and aspire to, allows you the non-attachment of understanding that not everybody's going to be for you. That's okay. We don't have to be each other's taste, but we respect each other in that space, right? When we navigate the space of saying we're not working towards perfect, we're working towards exquisite. And exquisite isn't for everyone. Exquisite is understanding what is for ourselves and the gift we give another that we are exquisite for. Like not everyone gets your exquisite. And I can hear and I feel like and I see that there's a lot of this energy potentially building into a relationship now where they're being more authentic than they ever have before. But they're also being held in ways they never had before because they're allowing someone to see them like they've never been seen before. And in that moment, I keep on seeing they're letting go of the bitterness of the past, recognizing and identifying that, yes, like there may have been some moments where someone, like either, I keep on seeing it's like there's a little bit of this judgment energy here too, because this is the energy that's looking at something and they're not putting all of the weight on the past counterpart. They're identifying any of the blockages they had in relationality to not bringing forth the authenticity that would have allowed for that clarity sooner rather than later, right? It's taking our own ability of understanding that the gift that we give in finding ourselves is it keeps us from falling towards partners where we feel like we need to change in order to be held, instead of questioning why we're choosing someone that we feel we must change for in order to be held. Final card for today's spread, between our Magician card and our Eight of Wands in its reversal. Yep, makes sense. Five of Wands in its upright. And this is the thing about, and like, I have to point out, Gemini energy gets this. Gemini energies gets this like almost from the beginning. It's not a manifestation. A healthy manifestation is working into the context of what one needs to start doing to move towards it and what one needs to stop doing, right? It's never one or the other. And that's where, like, you know, it's understanding. I keep on hearing, this is how we walk, is what I keep on hearing. Like if you want to take a step forward, you have to lift a foot. If you like, there's always a moment of energetic like free fall when we're walking, but it's the understanding that in every moment that we're walking, we're letting go of something and we're moving towards something else, right? And so it's a lot of that work that I keep on seeing, and I can see it even now. There's some energy in separation that is recognizing the impossibility of some of the partnership dynamics that they may have created before this time. Because especially, like, often this happens if we find ourselves in relationships where one person refuses to change and the other person is just changing all the time. Does the relationship work? Yes. But it doesn't allow the context of balance to be created. It's just an unbalanced relationship that is often going to break because one person is taking on more and more work and the other person is doing less and less, sometimes creates the energetic fracture point, right? The healthy breadth of relationship is the balance that we create. And it doesn't have to be exactly in all things, but it is understanding that we navigate the sacred breath of partnership and relationality to what we do, right? The progress, the progress that is articulated, that is the need of the counterpart, versus the aspirating, the patience that we give each other that is met with the progress, right? So when we're in healthy relationship, we're constantly adapting to each other's needs, right? If you're in that space, right, this is what we talk about. Relationship is about adaptation. We don't go to relationship to stay the same. If you want to stay the same, relationship is not for you, because relationship is the space where we adapt. And when we're in healthy relationship, we adapt in profound ways, right? And when we're in an unhealthy partnership, we adapt in detrimental ways. So I keep on seeing that for a lot of that energy, articulating about the past relationship, specifically talking about, and I think that this is what I think is beautiful. I see the energy in separation, either talking about the space of not being asked to change, but almost like intuitively trying to contort the self to bring about a change, or that was not coming, or and that recognition of understanding that the desire to change the condition of something was the breaking point, because it was someone accepting the reality of a situation, right? Or situations where someone was in a relationship and they felt like they were being pulled apart. And often when we're in an unhealthy relationship, it's not the fact that the counterpart is trying to change us, but it feels like they're trying to take away the best parts of us, the parts of us that we cherish, the parts of us that are most important to us. And that's why I keep on seeing that there was some energy that felt like they had that stop moment, because that was the energy that says, that's not something I'm inclined to do. That is something that is essential to the self, right? And that's where I see that there's a lot of that trauma that's being released, even in the new partnership, by being able to articulate the volatility that may have sprung forth in either another person's refusal to change in ways the other demanded, or the observation of not being able to take any more weight in order to try to keep something balanced. While for energy coming into divine union, and this is why the energy is almost apologizing for taking time, because I keep on hearing these new partnerships are letting Saturn do the work, slow and steady, not rushing through things, not seeing each other as a means to an end, but each day building into the trust that they felt was like that they lost as it relates to the past connection. This brings us to a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, and everything I keep on seeing for a lot of the energy coming into divine union, this is every day. Like, and here's the thing, like a lot of the work of healing is working to repress the traumatic urges, is what I keep on hearing, right? It's working to repress the volatility. It's working to feel like, again, we talk about the fact that the difficulty in navigating trauma is it forces us to pick up weapons to survive. And often the journey of healing is learning how to let those weapons down, right? Being respective in relationality to what is no longer serving us. So I just keep on seeing that that's the work, and it feels like it's heavy in Chiron right now, because this is the energy that says that part of the self that was triggered, it never goes away. The strength that we find is, again, the talking through the non-attachment of feeling the inclination to get defensive that the trauma creates, and then reminding the self that it's safe and it's not necessary, right? That is the space that we find in finding the peace of the self. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, Deep within divine union, I just keep on seeing that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union right now, this is like, I gotta tell you, like I gotta just give you a heads up. We already have a bunch of planets in Aries. And so now we've got another planet in Aries. So if you're feeling particularly temperamental, if you're feeling a bit energetically irritable, it's going to be a little bit easier when Venus moves out of Aries, because I feel like the thing I want to say is, like, especially with Saturn and Venus in Aries right now, I keep on hearing that there's something about being energetically respectful of time is what I keep on getting. It's like I can see, I can already see where some of this might occur, because when we are respectful of each other's time, we're energetically grateful for it. We don't demand it, is what I keep on hearing, right? Because it says, it speaks a lot towards insistence. So I see even now there could be work in the space of being energetically appreciative of the time that we have with one another. And that's often why sometimes, like, again, like I keep on hearing, like, that's why we don't take each other's time for granted. Because when we take each other's time for granted, we feel that it is owed to us, is what I keep on seeing. But when we work more in the space of navigating the space that it's energetically precious, like I keep on hearing, there could be a lot of relationships that feel like they are being tested or changed, maybe even outside of partnership, due to the respectiveness of time, which is, again, it's the force of consideration and the appreciation that we hold towards it. So I just keep on seeing that there's a little bit of that energy there, because it is like it's working in that space of like the honor of the weight that time brings, is what I keep on hearing, allows for the context by which everything is possible, right? So I feel like it's really interesting in that way, because it does give a little bit of this energy of and I gotta say, especially with this like 5 of Wands, like almost a little bit of hyper protectiveness in relationality to the time of the self, but also the time of the counterpart, is what I keep on seeing. So just make sure, again, don't let yourself be triggered right now. Like I know I say this a lot, but I mean especially right now, because like it just has a little bit to do with the fact that this transit is still happening. It can bring up some sore feelings about the past in the process. I'm going to say it again. The past is a library. It's not an armory. We look to the past as giving us notes to move forward. We don't go searching around for something to utilize as an energetic weapon, is what I keep on hearing. Because that space, or doing so in such a fashion, it talks about the fact, like I told you, it's like a lot of the work we're doing, especially right now with Pisces moving into Aries, is like letting go of bitterness, but letting go of bitterness think about letting go of bitterness in positive, healthy, restorative, productive ways. Bottom of the deck, especially with the Queen of Wands in its upright bottom of the deck, this is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what one feels most aligned to. Everything I keep on seeing for and a feminine energy. So I want to say masculine energy right now. I was telling you this before. It feels like a lot more. It feels a lot more like past reclamation. It's being able to feel something from the past in a way and find joy again. For feminine, I keep on seeing that there's something about this right now that feels more, how do I describe this? It feels more triggering. So masculine's feeling more vulnerable right now. Feminine is feeling more triggered. And that's why I'd say if you're feeling this right now, make sure that you're communicating upon it, not projecting it, because there is a little bit of this, like, I want to say like FOFA kind of energy, like FAFO. I'm never good with these like anachronisms or whatever they're called. Like it's a little bit of that. Like it's because like Saturn is going across the meridian, which is a lot of that. Like you can't talk to them that way, or feeling or it's like a little bit of this like this energetic protectiveness. But make sure that you're doing it in a way that feels like it is positive. Again, not working on be the energetic force of change. Don't teach lessons. Be recognize what feels like it is helpful versus what feels like it's just emotionally indulgent for the moment. It's giving me a lot of this, like what I could have said, but I didn't. What I could have done, but I didn't. You know what I mean? Like it's a little bit of that, like kind of energy. There's there's a little bit of try me energy in the air today. So let's work on that. So I'm just saying that to be, just be careful. Like no barbed. I keep on hearing no I keep on hearing like warrior energy, no barb throwing is what I keep on getting. Warriors don't throw barbs is what I'm hearing. Warriors don't throw barbs is what I'm hearing, to be perfectly clear. All right. I've got some people commenting in the comments that they needed to hear that. So I'll let it be. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here to receive it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my site. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading. You have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my site, so I would encourage you to do it there. A couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone who attended our recent class on the death card. Our next class will be held on Wednesday, June 11th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies into the tarot with an exploration of the Temperance card. If you would like to become a part of our tarot class program, all you need to do is head on over to my Substack and become a paid subscriber. Your paid subscription to my Substack is your ticket of entry into our live classes each and every month. As a paid monthly subscriber, you will have access to over 9 hours worth of material in the Tarot Church Library Class Archive. Now, it's not necessary for you to catch up. I will be doing my best to give you as much information about the previous classes as I can as we move into each new class. But if you wanted to catch up, now's the time to join, because you'd be able to take like 2 classes a week leading up until this next class and be all caught up. You'll also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions you may have in relation to anything that we are studying or have learned thus far. And if you become a founding member, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, you will also receive access to the entirety of the Tarot Church Library Archive. That is access to over 14 hours worth of material in an ever-expanding library. You will also have access to a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, if you so choose to have one, where I will assess where you are on your personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best impact moving towards your personal tarot goals. One of the things I tried to do in these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. Don't let your lack of experience or your robust experience prevent you from joining us in these classes. And even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings or services. I also post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You'll also be notified as to any giveaway information or any new offerings that I'm hosting. And speaking of offerings, on top of my standard life path readings, I also offer mentorship classes. These are for any of my clients seeking a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. Those classes can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. I'm also very excited to offer for those who would like more consistent weekly tarot packages, and that is a package of 4 30-minute readings, again, weekly or bi-weekly as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your journey at a discount. I'm also very happy to offer dream interpretation readings. You can purchase those per dream or as a series. I would encourage, if you purchase the series, that you start to keep a dream journal, as we will meet weekly or bi-weekly with that journal and utilize the tarot to understand the key themes and messages that are coming towards you in that space. I want to thank you guys so much for being here today and sharing in these messages, and we will do this again tomorrow.